What's up, everybody? What's up? This is the Sugarhill Gang Podcast with your host, Mr. Henry Diggity. We also have Wonder Mike, who is here in spirit, and T Dynasty, and of course, me, the one, the only, the MAS, the TER, the G with a double E. And today, listen, like I've been saying, this is my whole awakening. This podcast, the main reason why we wanted to do this podcast is because we're in the age now where we can finally touch base with the people that we have had some sort of, connection with through the music. And, so it's exciting for me every time we do it. But today is even more exciting because I'm a voice person, okay? I'm a voice person. I'm best known for the tones and, the identification. Most people will say that they might not know my face, but the minute they hear me on the mic, they know it's me. So this cat right here, oh my God, Fatman Scoop. What's up, baby?
What's happening, man? I'm the MAS, the TER, the G to the double E. Wow, this nigga called a Master G. Come on. Like, what else is there to say, man? When I got the call to do this, it's like the call when your father calls you to do something. You get on that phone. That's it. You don't discuss it. Like, you don't say, oh, nah, listen, I can do it on this day. You just say, listen, I'm coming. Because who you are and what you've done has made such a huge impact on this entire game. Yeah. That anybody you call, I don't give a damn if it's Drake on down. You better get on this. You better come and do this.
Really thankful, man. No, listen, and then again, it's been many years that I and Mike and I, and just us in general, we have kind of stayed we've laid in the cut. You know what I mean? And we just been kind of navigating and floating through the whole situation. But when our team came to us and they approached us, like they were like, this is a way for you guys to finally talk to these people who have these kind of feelings for you. And that's one of the reasons why we jumped all over it. And that's like, and again, for a situation just like this. And I hope that you're all right. I hope that, in the future, we'll be able to talk to Drake. I'd love to be able to talk to all these people, but it's important, again, and I'm going to keep saying this, man, sounds, tones, presence, it's very big on that, because early on, we didn't have the audio. I mean, we didn't have the visual. We had the audio. So it was all about what you sounded like, what your sound was like. That's how people knew who you were. Talk to us about, man, Scoop, we ask everybody, tell us your Rapper's Delight story. Where were you, or what happened, or what was your experience when you first heard Rapper's Delight?
Okay. The year, it's the late 70s. I'm in New York City. I'm a kid, young kid. My first memory of it would be standing on the corner of 109th Street and Madison Avenue.
Wow.
And in front of a bodega, and seeing a b-boy walk by, and you heard it on his box, and just saying, "Oh my God!" Like somebody did it. Like, somebody did it, because of course you had, the fear. You had Cold Crush, all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
But somebody took it and went there with it. Okay. Now, even at 7 to 8 years old, I knew in my soul that was it for me. I maybe about 3 days later, after hearing that on a boom box, I don't know whether it was a cassette in the box or whether it was the radio, but I do remember going to my cousin Alan Jackson's house, and his name was DJ AJ, local DJ, and he
not
had
not the AJ, not the
AJ
not the
from the
AJ,
Bronx.
right?
Just my cousin, and he had his best friend was named Chip, and it was DJ, AJ, and Chip C. Now I remember that I was, like I said, I wasn't breaking 10, guaranteed. I wasn't breaking 10 years old, guaranteed. And I boom, 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 and just hearing that, and just knowing, man, that this was actually possible. I got my little brush, and I went in front of my mirror and I did it. And I always knew that I wanted to do this. It was just about the execution of getting there, of actually getting there to do it. But I always knew that I wanted to do it. And you made us understand that the dream was attainable. And then just another time, I remember seeing you, I don't know what television show it was on, but I remember you in particular. You had on like AJs, man. You might have had AJs on or overlaps, and you had like a cardigan sweater on. And the microphone was about this big, but the antenna was like 3 blocks long.
Yeah.
And you were on it rapping, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow.
I had a cardigan on. I had a Pierre Cardin cardigan sweater and a mock neck. Yeah.
And you had a mock neck on?
Yes.
Woo!
Yes, man. Come on now.
So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, these guys are my heroes, like, and that meant, and then after that, the floodgates were open, man. The floodgates were open. And it brought us to where we are today with these young guys, YBM Namir, YBN Carde, all the Trippie Redd, all the kids that I don't even know, but it opened up the floodgates for all of this to happen. And for me, I'm so very grateful and thankful that however it happened, you guys were able to sashay into that office and then go in there and get that done, because no one will ever take that from you, ever.
Well, you're right, man. And that's the thing that, and we say this all the time, that one of the things that we're most proud of is that, one, that we had the chops. You follow me? Because it could have been 3 other cats, and the situations, the attitudes, the personalities, the vibes, it could have been different, and the world wouldn't have received it the way that they did. But I think it was the combination of the 3 of us with the situation and the way we put it out there, and then the way we presented it to the world, like you said, with us going on, Soul Train and American Bandstand, and the way we engage with Dick Clark and Don Cornelius, and then the international aspect of it, us doing the traveling, and a lot of what made it possible, like you said, is the more people saw us, the more it became a reality, and it put forth that motivation to go ahead and reach. And now, like you said, there, in the beginning, it was Curtis, the Furious, and us. That was it. That was all that was out there. You know what I mean? And now, like you said, I was talking to somebody the other day. There's so many people in the world. I mean, there's Russian rappers, like Russian MCs.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And this is saying, but the rhythm is tight.
Yeah.
Uzbek rappers,
right?
Fucking French rappers,
right?
Fucking rap from China,
right?
Fucking everybody.
Yeah. So Scoop, let me ask you this, man. You travel like we travel. You're international, and which is an amazing thing. Talk to us about your first experience of getting out of New York, and where were you what was your first international epiphany, if you will?
Easy. First show I did internationally was in Club Tresor in Berlin, Germany. My coworker and good friend DJ Cypher Sounds put me on to a guy named Ciara Agiapour, who now happens to have his own situation with ATA booking and works with 50 Cent and all of that. He had a up and coming fledgling booking agency called Heavy Rotation, and he asked me to come out there and do this Club Tresor. And I went out there to do the Club Tresor. It's a legendary venue in Berlin. I get out there, and Germany at that time. This is like 1996.
Right.
Whoa.
So that's 2006. That's 96, 06, 16. Shit, that's almost 25 years ago almost. The world's completely different. You wanted to call home, you had to get a calling card. And
a phone card.
Everything was completely different.
Everything.
And the women out there at the time looked like the fucking women from the Olympics and shit. Like the fucking right. So I remember going and doing the show, and I did good. And I remember just looking at this world and saying, "Yo, man, what the hell is this?" And long story short, after that, man, one show led to another with Ciara and Heavy Rotation, and then at one point I was damn near living in Germany.
Yeah.
For me, I go overseas 48 to 49 weeks a year for over 25 years. So when I tell you I put my miles in on the road, I have over 24 million miles. Like 22 million miles.
Ooh, yes. That's crazy.
Bro, I have my business set up in England. My business isn't even in America. It's in England.
Right.
So, I have made a whole living off of international performing. So
that's why I brought that up. One
show turned into two, and two turned into five turned into 20. And, that was my life. Man.
Every time we get to certain dressing rooms, we see you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We see you, fam.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing, man, for me to have been in it that long. And so think about it this way. If I was in it that long, how long were you in it?
Hello. Well, that's what I'm saying. The initial awakening for me has been happening, and then and I'm sharing another generation of this with these cats, with Han and Diamond. The first phase of it was just me, Mike, and Hank in that situation, and I was in one mindset, still trying to become a man and still trying to learn about life, and and I'm experiencing all these different countries and situations and scenarios, and then roll the script up into 2005. And I met Han and Diamond, new Diamond, but met them. And then we started, first going domestic. And then 2006 was when we went back over. The first place we went to was Spain. And then, Spain turned into, Germany and Switzerland and Sweden. And then, it was one tour, it was two. And then, between 2006 till now, we've probably been over there, and in the interim, when we were dealing with whatever we was dealing with over here, our saving grace, and that's why I asked you about that, Scoop,
Sure.
because of the power of what actually our music is to the world. Our saving grace has always been that there's always been a person, a place, and a thing looking to hear some Sugarhill vibrations, man. And that's the thing too. Virtually over the past 5 years, we were living in London. We were working over there, and we literally were living in Kensington. We had taken flats. We had taken flats in Kensington, right there on High Street. We had a couple of flats, and a couple of other neighborhoods, over that way, man. So I know you could appreciate it.
I lived on Kensington High Street, right next to right next to the record label, right next to Warner.
Okay, and okay, you know, further up the street by where the
right
Buckingham
there.
Palace is.
Yeah.
We live right across from Kensington Gardens. You know Kensington Gardens, right next to that hotel. You know that big hotel right there, and then that multi-million-dollar neighborhood's right there. The hotel there, Kensington Gardens, directly across the street. We lived in those flats right there.
Listen, a blessing. You know, people look at it. Some people will never get the experience that we got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for example, you know, shit. My office is still to this day in East London near Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
So, you know, as we take this break, we're gonna come back. You know, the thing is that we're blessed to have been able to do this.
Yeah.
But you know, here's the thing, and I wanna say this. To be known as the first really commercial record to break, that's gotta, you know, the history behind that.
Yeah.
The history behind that is crazy. And to know, just to know that you are a part of that, nobody can ever take that away, ever. And to know that you influenced so many people like myself. I mean, that inspired Rakim.
Yeah.
And Rakim is widely known as the best MC to ever touch the mic ever. I'm sure that influenced Kane. I'm sure that influenced Coogee Rap. I'm sure that influenced Chuck D. The list goes on.
No, man, again.
I got. Let me jump on that. I got to say.
No, don't jump on anything. No.
I'm gonna jump on it, G.
On it.
Listen, Scoop. Let me say from the door, yo, I'm a big fan of you. You know, for real, and a lot of things that I do come from you. Different little things, the way you move the crowd, the whole bit. But I'm gonna scoop back to that. A couple of years ago, we was in Europe, and usually, you know, when we do the flats. That's my dude is right there, my big bro right there, G. And we was having a conversation, and you know, monetarily things weren't the way we really wanted them to be, but there was a breakdown where at one point G got like it's almost like an epiphany. Like, and I'm gonna speak on it. Can I speak on it, G?
Go ahead, brother.
All right. And he said, you know, every time I go to these towns and people say something or they say about what they felt the first time they heard it or the things that people are talking, he said, you know, this ain't about me. This is for the people. And it was something else just for that moment, you know, for somebody to understand that, like, it's what you've done. Every time somebody put your hands in the air, that feeling that you gave people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, you're talking about.
You can't take that away. At the end of the night,
about,
when we finish playing things and we drop that, or we drop that in the night somewhere where we goofing and we doing our thing, it's something that you cannot stop moving. It's the same thing with these guys and the legacy that they've built and that they brought. So what you said, I totally applaud you on, and I totally understand you. And from the mouth of Babe, you know, you get that, you know, and I've been able to live that through them, you know, just to watch this.
You know something? It's like this. I didn't make up the word hands up. And of course, people were telling you to throw your hands in the air before I ever said hands up. Because I had to go back and say, was anybody saying hands up before I came into the mix?
No.
And I had to go back and say, people say, throw your hands in the air and wave like I just don't care. And say, yeah. And I had to realize I didn't create the words hands up, but my saying of it and my interpretation of that is what people do today. So when I hear Beyonce and when she's performing say, put your hands up and put your hands up, I know that came from me. And you know, for me, all I really want from this is to be looked at someday as not the number one man, but to have a page in hip hop history. Just a page that says that's the guy that really made us put our hands up in the air. And if I get that, I'm good. I can rock with it.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this is something that people always have to understand about rapping, rocking the crowd, motivating people on a party level. It's all about the connection between the person that's doing it and the people that's receiving it. If you understand the power that goes between the energy, the real energy, the real electricity that passes between when you say something out your mouth, okay, and the people hear it, okay, and then it all happens and it comes together.
Right.
It's one of the greatest exchanges of emotion on the face of this earth.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
The thing is, you don't understand it until you do it.
Right.
And I have told many of people that getting in front of a crowd and rocking would be the closest that someone could get. It's the feeling that I believe people feel when they catch the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
It's the feeling, for me, it's the closest feeling to God that I can feel.
Yes. Absolutely.
And Scoop,
without question.
And I just want to piggyback off of that. I think that's something you can't teach, man. I mean, I think that's something that was born inside of you. Just like I consider you as a great conductor, a great communicator. Just like G. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've gotten on stage and something goes wrong, but I'm not worried. I'm not shaking because I know he can handle the situation. He knows exactly what to say at the right time. He knows exactly how to communicate with the people, and people think that's a part of the show.
Let me tell you, wait a minute, three words. I got this.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm
dead serious. I got this.
I'll tell you like this. Again, I learned from the great Dougie Fresh, and my immediate mentor was DJ Chill Will. So Chill Will was my first, my everyday, day in, day out mentor. However, Dougie was like, we were in the system. And the one thing that I think that kids today don't have, that we had, was that you had to go out there and to get fame, you had to go do shows. So now, whereas when the music goes off and something happens, we know how to deal with it.
Yep.
These young kids that, they get on the internet and they blow up, and that's fine, that's cool. I'm not trying to sound like Benjamin Franklin.
I feel you.
But there's a different kind of training that you have when you got to go rock the crowds and get booed and all that kind of stuff in order to get a name. Because you can put me on stage anywhere, and they can cut the music off. I'm going to know what I got. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to this. I might go. I might do anything. I might start there. I may just improvise on the spot. There's a level of that is missing in today's performance.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal with that, and Henry, I appreciate that. That's amazing that you speak to that.
That's real.
No, I appreciate that. Really, that means a lot to me because and Diamond too, and now Scoop, too, that my DNA and my blood flows for performing. Like this whole time that we've been in this situation has been, and I was just telling my wife this, that it's been a bit of a depression for me because you know, I play golf and I'm working out, and yeah, and I'm, you know, my life is cool, and I'm you know, I got cool cars and all this other foolishness. But for me, man, the endorphins that kick in when I hit that stage, and the music is going, and I'm in my costume, and I'm feeling it, and the lyrics is coming out, the endorphins that happen in my mind and in my body, man. And here's the other thing. The fight that I fought to be able to do it on the level that we do it on. See, all of that contributes to the necessity to be able to make sure that if nothing else happens, a person's gonna say, man, they rock. This was the greatest show that I've ever been to.
Well,
that for me is what it's all about.
You have to understand this. I don't know who said it, but I know it's to be true. The most addictive drug in the world is not heroin, it's not cocaine, it's not fentanyl, it's not any of that. It's fame and celebrity. If I could say what the most intoxicating feeling, and I don't get high, but I can only know it from what I experienced. The most intoxicating feeling would be to hop in front of 1,500, 3,000, 4,500 people. Don't even have to, you know, because sometimes when you do those 65,000, 75,000, it's so big, you can't get any real emotional connection because you're like 12 feet away. You're like officially socially distancing back then. Mm-hmm. But when you go 1,500, 3,500, 4,500, 500, 700, 900, and you can see the whites of motherfuckers' eyes, and you can see reactions, and when that shit go, bass drop, and the fucking crowd goes ape shit, there's no other feeling like that.
Yeah.
And for me, they're gonna have to pull me off the stage. They're gonna take me off. They're gonna have to take me off. Like they're gonna have to come get me. Or you know, and I want to live till I'm 80, 85. I might die on there. You know, like for me, I'm good on that. You know, that's where I live. That's if I had to go there, that's where I want to go. So I would tell anybody, man, until you've experienced that, you haven't experienced anything. You haven't the feeling of when a club is full and the promoter tells you this shit is wham-packed right now, and you're walking from where you come into the club, which is what I call the Frank Sinatra walk, which is the walk behind the kitchen, and you know, like the fucking Goodfellas walk. And then you hear the person say, y'all ready for Sugarhill Gang? Y'all ready for Fatman Scoop? And the crowd erupts. There is no other feeling that is anything like that. It's at all. It's just not. It's unmatched.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Scoop. When did you know that? And I'm gonna go back to this with the voice thing because again, that's my thing too. When did you know your voice was a major factor in who you are?
The day I made Hands Up. Because what you have to remember is I was an MC first. So I'm an MC in the Dougie Fresh, Chill Will farm system. I'm not saying hands up and all that. I'm saying the same shit. Throw your hands in the air and wave like you just don't care. Come on, everybody, done. When I say this, when I say this, you say that. When you say this, then I say like it was that kind of thing. The day that I met the Crooklyn Clan, which are the iconic producers of all these records, DJ Riz and DJ Scissorhands, I didn't even know I had that in me until Scissorhands said, "Yo, bro," he said, "Can you yell something?" And I said, "Yell what?" He said, "Yell anything." I said, "Well, what the fuck do you want me to yell?" He said, "Yell hands up." And I was like, "Hands up!" And he went ape shit. He went ape shit. He fucking started jumping up and down on the fucking in the middle of this. We were in front of a church, and he was jumping up and down like a fucking girl. He said, "We got all." He told his friend and who was my friend, the producer, DJ Riz, the other part of Crooklyn Clan. He said, "We got our own fucking sampling machine." The next day, I went to do Hands Up, right? Mm-hmm. I do that record, and I'm on Hot 97, so I'm a DJ on Hot 97. Mm-hmm. And we put the record out. So the first record, Hands Up, is off Busta Rhymes, Put Your Hands in My Eyes to See. Mm-hmm. So, where my niggas is at? Where my niggas is at? Where my niggas is? Because that's the Busta sample. I go, come on, hands up, nigga, get your hands up. What? Hands up. And when I put that out, and I gave it to Funk Master Flex, and I say, yo, Flex, this is my record, man. I'm trying to do this to put my brother through school. And, you know, Flex was my co-worker. Right. But he's still a motherfucker when it came to dealing with records because he's Funk Master Flex. You have to play shit. Like, you know, right. You don't make careers, he makes fucking careers. Right. And when he came, he said, okay, I'll check it out. You know, he kind of casually, you know, kind of blew me off. Like, yeah, I'll check it out. Now, keep in mind, I work overnights. So Flex works 7 to 12. So he works right before me. So I knew that he would listen to the record at some time. I knew he couldn't completely blow me off because you're going to see me every night. Right. So I saw him that night, the night that I gave him the record, which was like the night that I gave him the record after the acetates and all that shit came in. And I didn't hear nothing else from him. I didn't hear nothing else from him. The phone call, nothing. And I was driving into work. You know, because I'm driving in while he's on, I'm driving into work. And she said, and where my niggas is at? And then he just said, he stopped the record. He was like, Fatman Scoop, I'm telling you, you got one here. And that's when I knew that this could be something.
Hey. Right. Hey, man, listen, man. I think that, you know, the beauty of creating, again, is a joy. You know what I mean? Just like performing. And I speak to this for the people that's going to hear this moving forward. You know, celebrity is amazing. Yes, I can dig it. I understand. I cry sometimes inside for the cat that is doing this just for that. You know what I mean? You know, the guy that's for the notoriety and for the, you know, well, I got 1 million views or whatever. I cry to that focus. You follow me? I want people to understand that the essence and the blessing that you get or you've been given is, one, to bring joy to people. And then two, or you can make this one, be able to express from within to the without. You follow what I'm saying? You know, you've been given a gift. I've been given a gift. Everybody that does this, actors, singers, rappers, whatever, comedians, you've been given a gift. And it's your responsibility, man, when you get an opportunity to get it, to give it to those without. You know, so that's why I say what you got from within, you got to give to those without. So you have to understand that the importance is not to put the emphasis on how famous you are, but how many people you can touch creatively, man. And the fact that when you get that chance, you know, let it happen, man. You know, let it happen. You know, because all the other things are going to come into play. You know, financial success and notoriety. We're in an audio and visual era. I mean, you can't literally, you know, when I first started making records, you know, you did Solid Gold, American Bandstand, and Soul Train, and that's how people saw you in concerts. Now, you know what I mean? You're seen before you're even heard sometimes.
Yo, so now, when you had that microphone where the antenna was about 3 blocks long, was that Solid Gold?
That was Solid Gold. Yeah.
Solid Gold. Solid Gold was some shit, man. See, people don't understand that now. Solid Gold was some shit. Like you said, Solid Gold, American Bandstand, and Soul Train. That was the way that you consumed. That's the way you consumed your content back then.
That's how you saw everybody.
It's so fast, man.
Right. And if you made, and that's kind of, and then, you know, I'm going to speak for my own self. When I did Soul Train, that's when I knew that I was really for real, like a known artist. Because I grew up, Soul Train was our Bible. You know what I mean? Saturday on Channel 5, 1 o'clock. That's how much I know about Soul Train. Every Saturday on Channel 5 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we watched Soul Train, and you saw all of your we saw Ohio Players, we saw Al Green, and it was, hey, you seen them on Soul Train, it was the real deal. So the minute that I did Soul Train,
you knew it. You knew it because, you know, especially for me also as a young kid, you knew that the comics were coming on in the morning. You knew Soul Train was at 12 or whatever.
That's right.
You knew the karate movies were on Channel 5.
Coming on that. Right.
All right. You knew how this was going to work. And then by 5 o'clock, you were outside practicing those karate moves on everybody and breaking motherfuckers' arms and all kinds of shit. People going to the ER and people get smacked in the head with a sword. So you knew that. Now as a young black man, you're there. You probably don't even grasp what you're actually doing. How long is it before after the record drops that you wind up on Soul Train? And what's the process? Do they say, wait, hold on, man, this hippity hop, this rap shit, I don't know about this shit. How do you get Dick Clark to buy in? I mean, I'm sure that Don Cornelius is a little easier, but were there any roadblocks with that?
There was a ton of roadblocks, and these are good questions. Initially, a status quo, a corporate entertainment was totally against it. Period. Point blank. See, Rapper's Delight was a street record. Even though we weren't street dudes, it was a street level situation that started permeating the society. So it made every person that most people didn't want to deal with it. Most radio stations didn't want to play it. Corporate America didn't want to give it no play. It was going to burn out. It was a fad, blah, blah, blah. But by the time... Why did
corporate America not want to give it any play? Just because it was so new?
Because they thought it was a fad.
Yeah.
And they
thought... Did they think it was violent?
No, they didn't think anything. They just thought it didn't deserve any attention. It didn't have it had no effect. See, this is the way corporate America works. If they can't see where the dollar value is going to make a difference in their bottom line, it ain't working. But see, what happened with that is when they started seeing the numbers of how many records we were selling and how many markets we were in and how many young people that their buying public was being influenced, that's when they get into it. So this is what happened, man, is that the record continued to grow. It just became, it was an atomic bomb, so strongly that literally, and shout out to Miss Robinson and Joe and them, because, they were smart enough to make the move. They could literally pick up the phone, man, and call anybody. And at that point, because the record was so powerful that, that they would, and see, Sylvia had a relationship with Dick Clark. See, Miss Robinson knew Dick Clark from the Pillow Talk and the Love is Strange and, Mickey and Sylvia. So she knew Dick Clark. So I think that was an easy call for her to make to him, because if you ever look at American Bandstand and look at the interview part of our show, Dick Clark and I talked about the relationship that he had with Sylvia. That was actually, we spoke about that. We spoke about it on television, and we also spoke about it in rehearsal. Because the first time I met him was in rehearsal. And the first thing he asked me was, how's Sylvia? And I was like, boom, wow, So, yeah, man. But Soul Train was a different flow because, Don Cornelius, even though he hated rap music, he did not like it. He wasn't interested. He was very rude to me.
What?
there's
Whoa,
actually
whoa.
yeah.
Whoa. Wait, hold on now. Hold on now.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. And
Yeah.
here's why. I would think that the black man would have more open arms. The man who's looked at as a pioneer for black music would be like, this is a new genre. All right, we're going to rock with this.
No.
And I would expect Dick Clark to freeze you out.
No.
You would think so, Scoop. Yeah.
You would think Don Cornelius, okay, was going for ratings. That's the only reason why we did Soul Train, because we were the hottest group in America, period, point blank. Rapper's Delight, and then after Rapper's Delight, Ace Wonder, we were the hottest group in America.
You know something, William? Hold on now. You're right about that. Because here's the thing, I'm not even thinking about it. When Ace Wonder came out,
yes.
Hold on, what's the sample?
Daisy Lady.
From the break piece.
It was.
I gotta go listen to my break piece today. I gotta talk to break piece Lou, because
Daisy Lady. That was a sample. Ron the Free wrote that.
It brings me back
Seventh
to
Wonder.
Seventh Wonder, exactly. It brings me back to a place when I think about that of just the way it used to be, man. You know, that was pure. You know, you came in right at a time where it was for the love, and y'all were the first people to kind of do it for the love, but still get the money and the commercial success. And the thing that you said that was really important, and I talk about this on my show all the time, corporate America, people, whoever, they don't respect you per se. They respect the numbers. So, you know, I tell people all the time, whatever your vision is and whatever your dream is, don't veer off from it. For example, on my podcast, I talk a bunch of shit. I curse, I fucking carry on like a baboon, but I do what's authentic in my soul. And I've been told before, but we might not be able to monetize that. But see, here's the thing. If you focus on your following, it will monetize. Because here's the thing. They don't care about you. You could be saying, they only care about the people following you and listening. Because I give you a good example. Travis Scott is one of the top destructive Negroes out here. Okay,
right.
He's smoking weed,
right?
You know, and I love him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I love him, but stay into something all the time.
You talk about bitches and taking Percocet and all kinds of shit like that, right? But the good white people at McDonald's have pushed the Hamburglar, and they have pushed Ronald McDonald and said, "Listen, sir, you have to leave. We gonna work Scott, sir, because the numbers." They need the numbers. So a man that Ronald McDonald is probably in his house like, shit, this man talking about living America, and I'm out of work. So that's how it works. Cardi B in no way, no shape should be interviewing Joe Biden. But the numbers dictate that, because when you have 46.1 million people that follow, that's what they respect, man. And what you're saying is, basically, and what I understand it to be is, Don Cornelius, sir, you don't have to like this, but you're gonna fucking respect it now. Because Cleveland respect the shit, Atlanta respect the shit, Mississippi respect the shit, Detroit, Michigan respect it, LA respect it, and the numbers, go look at the numbers, motherfucker. And once you look at the numbers, you have to respect it.
And I knew that, and I know that, and this is fun because I never really discussed this publicly, but I knew that. And what ended up, the other thing that irritated me about that situation is, again, I mean, you know, I was raised by people that taught me how to speak the English language. You know what I mean? And so, and even to this day, we still do, when we do interviews, I do a lot of the talking, whatever the case may be. But that was his first experience of dealing with rappers. So he says to me when I'm talking to him, "Oh, wow, you guys are really intelligent." And I took that as, oh, I anticipated y'all to be a bunch of dumb niggas.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? And I said to him, oh, really? Well, what did you expect? So we had like a little thing go back and forth.
Wait, hold on. This is on air?
I don't know if it's ever, it happened during the interview. I don't know if they showed it, but it did go down. He was talking to us and he was asking questions about, whatever he was asking. And the way I was answering the questions, it must have dawned on him that I was intelligent. And he said to me, and I took offense to it immediately when he said it was, oh, wow, you guys are really intelligent. And I said, well, what did you expect? And he looked at me and I looked back at him like, yeah, what did you expect? Oh, I know what you expected, because again, the undertow of the whole thing was he really didn't want us there, but he knew that we were going to be one of his highest rated shows at the time. That's why he had us on there. So
okay, now you do that, right? Okay, you do that now. Now when Eighth Wonder comes around, what's his response? What is he greeting you with by the time Eighth Wonder comes around?
We only did it one time, and we did both songs. We never did it again. We did 8 because you remember the group would do 2 songs. You remember that?
Yeah, you're right.
So we came out, we did Rapper's Delight, and then when we came back, we did Eighth Wonder, and that was it. We never did Soul Train again.
Wow.
So yeah. Let me. First of all, I want to talk about your OPP podcast, Other People's Podcast, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
and also Make Noise with Fatman Scoop.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those, man.
Well, both of them are. OPP is Other People's Podcast. So what we do is we take other people's podcasts,
okay,
and we condense it like a Cliff Notes kind of situation.
Cool.
So it's like you don't have to listen to all the bullshit. We will give you what you need, and so you can go. You can listen to that, and you can go in your own house and do whatever you want to do in your house without having to listen to 60 minutes of something unless you want to. We give you the Cliff Notes. So that's why it's important that we have a lot of good people. And it's more of a motivate. We pick the best podcasts in terms of motivation, business, marketing, things like that. And my job on there is to be myself. So although I act like a damn fool, I'm highly educated. I'm an avid reader, and I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'm an avid reader. And
As am I.
I put my head in a book, man. My mother was a teacher, so we take the podcast and we condense it and bring it down to small bites and sound quotes that you can take and walk off with. Make Noise with Fatman Scoop is basically my interview series. By nature, I've been on the radio in one way or another 25 years of my life, which is half of my adult life. Half of my life in general. I've been behind a microphone. By nature, I'm a very inquisitive person. So I love to ask questions. I love to know more. I love to interview interesting people, and that's what Make Noise Podcast is about. It's just interviewing people that are interesting, people that have a story. You don't have to be Drake. You just have to have an interesting fucking story.
I got it.
Like,
yeah.
Just in the midst of talking, I'm naturally inquisitive, so I want to know more. So in the midst of you interviewing me, I'm a little bit of, hold on, what happened? So, I want to know, because there's things that I want to know about that. Like, for example, I start asking you about Don Cornelius and what happened in American Bandstand and this, and knowing that being so young in the business and being the first to break commercially and being a trailblazer, not even knowing that you're a trailblazer. You didn't even probably know that shit when you were doing it.
No.
You were just out there, get the fucking mic with the radio fucking thing that's three miles long.
Right.
You didn't know what you were doing. You had no idea until now, 35 years, now 40 years later, you're looking back at it saying, hey, man, I was a legitimate trailblazer. So for me, it's Make Noise Podcast is the extension of my Instagram live series, which I do every night. And I started it because during the quarantine, the early days of the quarantine, I had just come home from England. England had mandated all Americans go home. And I got home on March maybe 7th. And I was sitting and I was deciding what to do. Like, what am I going to do next? And I said, I better step this up. Because I was understanding early that because this is going to get serious. It's serious now.
Yeah.
But it's not as serious as it's going to be.
Right.
And I came to the understanding early that when the people are playing games now, they laughing, they at home watching Netflix and quarantine and chill and quarantine wait and all that shit like that, but they're not understanding that when the musical chairs game is over and the music stops, there are going to be more people than chairs.
Yes.
Working. There'll be more people than chairs.
Say it again. Say it again.
There'll be more people than chairs. Woo. So I had to say to myself, knowing this, what am I going to do? Because I knew that this was a fucking mess.
Right.
I took about 3 days when I got home to rest, because I had never rested. I've never been on the ground this long in my adult life. You understand this? We have never been on the ground this long in our adult life ever. I used to have a blood clot in my leg, and it scarred, so it would make my leg big. So when I would fly, my leg would get big. My leg has been the same size for fucking 6 months, right? So I'm sitting and I'm internalizing for 3 days. I'm resting, I'm internalizing, and I'm saying, I better start working now so that by the time 6 or 7 months come along, I have a podcast. I'll get called to do a radio show. I have some type of look. And that's what I did. And that's where Make Noise with Fatman Scoop came from. And now I'm starting to hear offers from people saying, hey man, we love what you're doing. And we would love for you to try this or try that. And the most important thing that I've learned through the lesson that I got from this, through doing this show and also the entire quarantine is this. And it applies to you, it applies to everybody. Put your work out there. Put your work out in the streets. Put your podcast out there. Put your work out there, do your thing. Somebody's watching, and you never know who's watching. Just put it out there. You have no idea who's watching, who's absorbing. Just because you don't see people liking it or touching it or whatever, don't mean that they're not people watching. LL Cool J could be watching this. Once you drop this, they could be watching it right away. They say, oh, wow, Sugarhill Gang, maybe I need to work with them. You don't know what people are doing. So it was an exercise in saying, put your stuff out there, let it be seen. And also it was an exercise in being disciplined. Because now that I don't have a job every day, I have to structure my day in such a way that I'm productive. I work harder now than I did pre-pandemic. I wake up at 3:30 to 4 o'clock every day, and I go to bed at 9 every single day.
No, man, and that's a great way. And we're gonna have to wrap it up. As much as I don't want to, I'm really enjoying this, man. Again, this has been.
We gotta be on your show.
Yeah, we'll get that, brother. We'll get you that.
We'll work that out.
He already put that in the universe when he said, "Sugarhill Gang, Fatman Scoop." I hear it. Right. I hear it.
Scoop.
I hear it. Throw your hands up. What?
You don't even have to sell it. It's a blessing.
Right.
You don't have to sell it. There's nothing to even sell. It's like you're selling a car that's already on the road on the major DM, right?
Exactly.
That's what's up.
Scoop, man, it's been such a pleasure. It's been exciting. It's been exhilarating. I mean, it's amazing. I really appreciate you. I mean, we love you, man, for loving us. And I just want to say that, man, wow, I'm very proud of you, man. You're a dynamic cat. You're doing amazing things, and all the blessings to you and all the success in your endeavors. All right.
Thank you. I have a final question for you guys.
Yes, I was going to ask you that. They're very good.
Mike, Hank, and yourself. Where were you from? Where were you guys from?
Okay, I was born in New York City. Okay, and I was raised in Brooklyn. And then my family came to northern New Jersey, the Englewood, Hackensack, Teaneck area.
Englewood, okay.
Right. So I was in that area. And then my grandmother was in Mount Vernon, and my other grandmother was in Brooklyn. So I bounced across the bridge. So that's why I tell people my whole life was spent across the George Washington Bridge.
Right.
Because we would go see my grandmother in Mount Vernon, and then come back to Teaneck, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So all three of y'all were from Teaneck, Hackensack.
Well, Hank
Hank was from the Bronx. Hank was from the Bronx.
Right.
Mike was from Newark, and then he was an Army brat, so he kind of bounced around, but he came out of Newark. So we were all basically from the New York metropolitan area. But what we were rapping, Mike and I, we were rapping in Englewood, Hackensack, and Teaneck. See, so we were the hip hop scene in New Jersey, basically. Because after that part of New Jersey, like Newark and all that, nobody was doing it there. You know what I mean? We were so close to New York that we got the word what was going on in New York, and we started doing. We were DJing because I was a DJ too. I was a DJ first, and then I heard about the rapping, and I said, "Well, this will give me more parties," and that's what made me start rapping. So,
wow, yeah. We'll talk later. You guys be safe. God bless.
Yeah, you too,
man.
Scoop.
Out. All right, cool.
God bless.
We're out.